Hey guys, today I'm going to give you the blueprints which you can follow and implement in Dota 2 to start grinding. I've seen many videos misleading people to just pick broken heroes or to buy certain items to win the game. These things are going to keep you in a loop. Sure, you will have success, but as soon as the item or the hero gets slightly nerfed, you will be back to your original MMR very soon. To truly gain MMR, you not only have to improve your skills in the game, but your mentality and your approach to the game itself has a huge impact on your MMR. I'll watch back this video myself if I ever feel stuck, and I know this is the only way to approach the game if you wanna grind. The first thing I want you to understand is, if Miracle was to play in your pub, wouldn't he win 99% of the games in your bracket? Why? Wouldn't he be arguing with teammates or blaming someone? Of course not. It is due to him having a strong understanding of what his hero can do in different matchups. When does he have a power spike to start fighting, and what is the main purpose he wants to achieve with his hero, thus helping him win games and win MMR. Through this section, I shall provide you with certain action steps that can help you gain a better understanding of how to master these concepts. To start off, I want you to open the Heroes tab, and depending on what role you play, for example if you are a position 1 player, you want to choose just 3 heroes which you will play in rotation. There will be priority number 1, priority number 2 and 3. So even if your hero gets banned, you have another hero that you can pick. You need to understand that spamming heroes is essential, because only by spamming heroes will you understand the true potential of your hero. You need to stop being scared of counters or worried about hard matchups. That when we talk about counters, for example, how anti-mage counters Medusa, there's always a way to play Medusa in this matchup, even though it is completely one-sided. And the player that will counter you has to play a specific way to counter you. And he's not going to be playing like Miracle or Yatoro and just stomp you. Only by putting yourself in discomfort can you master your favorite heroes. The benefits that you gain from doing this is that you understand what items you will have to buy in certain matchups and what approach to teamfights you will take in these scenarios, making these difficult matchups a breeze. So the first action step is for you to understand the hero that you've chosen. What is its true potential? For example, I have Dragonite here on the offlane. So I understand that Dragonite is a hero that can use his dragon form to take objectives, farm quickly through his Breath of Fire, and around level 12 be able to clear ancients as well. Because of his dragon blood, Dragonite is able to tank and frontline in teamfights. So I have recognized the strengths of my hero. You can do this with any hero that you've chosen for yourself. So ideally, I want to be able to farm, take objectives with my ultimate, and always be tanking in teamfights. So what really makes a high Immortal player win more games apart from just understanding his hero to his true potential? Well, it's the power spikes. After coaching a lot of players in lower MMR, I realized that there is a pattern where the net worths of each and every player are so low compared to the high Immortal players. Around minute 10, the low Immortal players barely reach around 4k net worth, while the high Immortal players are even touching close to 6k net worth. This is a big deal, because the quicker you are able to get to your items, the higher chance is that you will win the next fight. Because if you have your first item, that is your power spike. For example, a blink on Dragonite means that Dragonite is ready to fight, while the enemy might not have their first item. Thus, you will most likely win the first fight. However, if the enemy are able to get their items before you, you will lose the first few fights. So here I will give you your second and third action step. The second action step is very important for core players. If you want to get out of the lane with as much last hits as possible, so you are able to get your first power spike item, then you need to practice your last hits every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes. You can start by practicing for 5 and then raise 1 minute every day. This will help you benefit insanely, and you will just have 20 to 25 more CS than the enemy, thus helping you reach your power spike a lot earlier. For support players, the power spike would be their level 6. For example, if you are a Vengeful Spirit level 6 before the enemy supports are 6, and you join the fight, the likelihood of you winning the fight is much larger as compared to the enemy. So an action step for the support players would be try to secure as many range creeps on the lane and around 7 minutes to try and snatch the enemy experience round. This will help you gain levels faster and be able to provide a huge impact in the first few fights, thus putting you in the lead always. The third action step is for you to understand after which items my hero reaches its true potential. For example, Dragonite becomes very strong after its first 2 items in the mid game. The Mage Slayer orchid. So if you are forcing any fights or your team is asking you to fight before these two items, you shouldn't go for it, because if you have these items, there's a higher chance of you winning and the outcome will be likely in your favor. But if you join a fight that your team thinks is good, and the outcome will be random. To win more games, you need to avoid random outcomes and to understand that when you have your items, you have a higher chance to win the next fight, because the enemies won't have their items and thus will be much weaker than you. For support heroes, the third action step, you need to be conscious about the areas where you are fighting and make sure the enemies do not have vision. While placing your own vision, you will have a higher chance of winning the fights, because your team will be able to choose targets easily instead of randomly running into the enemy, thus avoiding another random outcome. You can increase the chances of your team winning significantly. The fourth and final action step that you will need to learn is after 10 heroes have been picked in every single game, you need to think to yourself, how can I provide the most impact in this game? Is it my job to kill the enemy carry, or is it my job to kill the enemy supports? In what way can I provide the highest value in the game? To understand this concept, you have to visualize team fights. Try to think what will happen in team fights. For example, in this game as an Abaddon offlane, my job is to press shield on one of my teammates if the Dragon Knight initiates, and if I have my 2 power spike items, that is Harpoon plus Manta, I should always try to look for supports, since they will die instantly to me, and I can walk freely into fights because I have an ultimate which allows me to frontline easily. If I walk into fights, this will make the game a lot easier for my Earthshaker to play. If I walk into enemy supports, their cores will try to stop me, thus stack up, giving my team an easy fight. This action step is the same for support heroes. Try to understand how you can provide the highest value in team fights. For supports, it will be through their positioning and to throw as many spells in the team fights as possible. If you follow these action steps and apply these to your games, you need to understand that in your game, out of 10 players, you will be the one approaching the game differently. Thus, over time, you will win a lot more, since your way of thinking is completely different from the people in your bracket. As you climb from bracket to bracket, the only difference is that the room of error becomes smaller and smaller. You can only lose a few fights in Immortal games and make only a few mistakes if you are behind, and the enemy will eventually punish you and close out the game. So making too many mistakes is not possible. You will end up losing. But in lower MMR games, I've noticed even if players make big mistakes, nobody is willing to convert these skills into objectives or to farm even more on the map, thus making it very easy for a Smurf or an Immortal player to play in those brackets, because they will work their way up to their power spike height and keep fighting until they win. Avoid random outcomes and try to make active decisions in the game as you get closer to your power spikes, that is your level 6, your Blink Dagger, your 2 core items, etc. This is the best advice that any Immortal player can give you to gain MMR instantly. So these are some of the blueprints to build upon. So to recap, your job will be to watch replays on Dota2ProTracker.com. Try to see the timings at which pros get items, the net worth that they have around a certain time of the game, and the amount of last hits they have, and then compare it to your own game. Try to copy them as much as you can. I will go in detail in future videos as to how you want to achieve these timings. But for now, focus on the main goal and the action steps. I guarantee you will gain MMR. Lastly, I want to talk about something that is very crucial to the game of Dota. It is your mentality. People can become their worst selves in the game and lose themselves completely. And it happens to everyone. It's completely normal. But you can avoid this by understanding that the people you are playing with are 9 random people in the world. The chance of you winning is 50%. But if you are a unique player, you provide a positive energy to your team. You are hyping your team up when they do some good play, or if someone is getting flamed, you try to stop your teammates and try to keep a positive atmosphere. You will be a lot more fun to play with, and people will try harder when you are with them. Thus, this 50% win rate shifts to 60 to 65% in your favor, just because you are being a lot more positive compared to the rest of the players. Another thing is that when we lose 2 to 3 games in a day, we get completely emotionally torn and feel like it was a horrible day. We lost 100 points. Oh no. You need to understand that this is a grind. It's pretty much like the gym. You won't see results instantly, so you shouldn't have so many expectations on the first day or the first week. Keep trying, keep playing, and keep giving it your best every single game. Over 100 games, you will at least win 60, and that's 600 MMR. Play when you feel like playing, and when you play, give it your all, and never give up. Best of luck to you all for your pubs. Hope you liked the video and got some ideas to use in your pubs. If you want even more help, you can reach out to me on my Discord server. I also provide coaching and can give you in-depth plans on how you can approach your games as well. See you in the next video.